man. On December 20th in Bezludovka village, a woman stepped on a landmine and died. In Shebekina, a UAV attack injured a man. December 22nd, drone attacks on cars in Shebekina and Volkanov districts killed 3 civilians and wounded 4. December 23rd, UAV attacks in Novatovolzhanka village, Grivoron city, Krasny Pahar and Belenka villages killed 1 and wounded 7 people, including a 13-year-old boy. Bryansk region, December 18th. The UAV attacks in Belgorod village wounded 3 persons. DPR, December 18th and 19th. In Krasnoarmeysk, UAV attacks injured 2 persons. December 21st, a woman was injured as a result of a drone attack in Gorlovka, Zaporozh region. December 18th, numerous shelling and UAV attacks in Verkhnya Krynytsa village in Kamenka-Dniprovska city killed 2 persons. Between December 19th and 21st in Vasilievka village, 4 persons were injured. December 22nd in the city's Pologi and Energodar, 2 civilians were injured and another one was injured in Kamensk-Dniprovsky municipal district. Moscow, December 22nd, as a result of a car explosion ahead of the Department of Operational Training of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, Lieutenant General Fanil Sarvarov was killed. Investigation believes that Ukrainian intelligence services were involved in that attack. The Rostov region in the night of December 18th, as a result of the Ukrainian UAV attack on Rostov-on-Don by Taisk and Taganrog in the Rostov port, as a result of the attack, which resulted in a fire on a cargo vessel. 2 members of the crew were killed and 3 members were injured. In Bataysk, a 50-year-old woman was killed and 6 civilians were injured. Sevastopol, on December 18th, a 15-year-old resident of Sevastopol was injured, died in the Moscow hospital because of the wounds, and she was wounded on November 30th as a result of the Ukrainian attack on Sevastopol. She was just 15 years old. 238 children in Russian regions were killed by Ukrainian Nazis since February 2022. That's how the Kiev regime treats children. Kherson region, December 18th. Chelburda village, a man was killed as a result of an ammunition that was dropped by a drone. At the same very day in Veliki Kopani village, UAV attack killed a staff member of the Kherson Energo enterprise, and also 3 workers were injured. Between December 20th and 23rd, Novakakhovka city, the drone attack killed 2 women aged 35 and 60, and 81-year-old woman and 65-year-old man were injured. The Russian law enforcement agencies continues to hold Ukrainian war criminals accountable for their crimes. The Swedish mercenary Frederick Christopher Forsbeck was sentenced to 27 years in prison for the terrorist attack in the Kursk region. He was put on the international wanted list. British legionnaire Hayden William Davis was sentenced to 13 years in prison. And the operator of the Ukrainian drone, Gennady Tretyakov, was indicted due to the UAV attack on February 9th in Bryansk region by killing a civilian by dropping an ammunition from a drone. And now who stands behind the Kiev regime? December 19th, the European Council, by a majority of votes, has approved the interest-free loan for Ukraine worth 90 billion euros. As the French President explained, this loan will be used to fund war effort of Kiev in 2026 and 2027. The enlightened Europe that always talks about peace, the need to find a peaceful solution to the conflict, and now they take 90 billion euros and use it for the development of Ukraine, the statehood of Ukraine, but yet it is the Europe itself that destroyed the statehood of Ukraine. They need war. EU doesn't have available financial resources for that, and the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, does not give up hope to use the Russian sovereign assets mobilized in Europe to compensate expenses to credit the corrupted regime of Zelensky, or just to commit an outright robbery. Well, not everyone is ready to dance to Ursula von der Leyen's tune. They understand that it's a crime. There is no doubt that the 90 billion euro loan will be paid off by ordinary Europeans and their children. On December 19th, Politico, with reference to officials of the European Commission, explained that since 2028, EU taxpayers will have to pay 3 billion euros annually in interest through its 7-year budget until 2034. Interest payments will begin in 2027 and will cost around 1 billion euros. December 20th, Zelensky openly claimed that the Ukraine will, option A, gradually compensate EU funds, option B, until the payment is paid off, and option C, Ukraine is not going to pay off the loan. Yes, that's what he said, option C, that Ukraine is not going to pay off its debt. They claimed that they're going to pay off its debt once Russia is going to pay off its reparations. Well, I think everyone understands that reparations that Zelensky is talking about, calling them reparations, some obligations, it's not going to happen. Well, probably the European Union is going to listen to what Brussels heard from Zelensky. Probably the European Union should understand that these funds, 90 billion euros and other loans, will never be paid off by Ukraine. Probably they will take Ukrainian lands, Ukrainian property, Ukrainian resources, rare earth materials, rare earth metals, Ukrainian citizens, either dead or alive. We know what they do with Ukrainians in the West. Well, maybe they will have something, but they will never have that in a payment. Well, that's what Zelensky said without hiding anything. On December 22nd, a representative of the European Commission, Olaf Joel, at the briefing in Brussels, reported about providing the bottomless pockets of the Kiev regime with a tranche of 2.3 billion euros as part of the financial assistance of the Ukraine facility in order to support the functioning of the Ukrainian statehood. Well, it's quite convenient to send money to what does not exist anymore, because the Ukrainian statehood was destroyed by the Western Europe and Western countries who changed regimes and organized coup d'etats. They sent emissaries to control Ukrainian ministries and agencies. In 2025, Kiev junta has received 6 tranches with a total sum of 26.8 billion euros. Such a corrupt scheme they are using in Kiev in front of the entire humanity. The report of the Defense Minister Denis Shmyhal